Okay, so update video on this Blazer. I've got it torn down. Really all I've got left to do to it is take two bell housing bolts out of the back of the engine and finish disconnecting the wire harness. And guys, when you're doing the wire harness on this thing, don't worry about what plug goes where, because every plug is individual and will only plug into a certain sensor. So that's really a non-issue when you're taking one of these things apart. The only thing you have to really do is make sure it's out of the way when you're pulling the engine. Make sure everything's unplugged when you're pulling the engine, because you can damage these plugs by trying to pull the engine out and it's not, it's still plugged in. So, but the only thing to be concerned about the wire harness on this thing. Sorry about the shaking, guys. But the only thing to really be concerned about the wire harness is when you do get the engine out, it's really a good time to check the loom and everything. The wiring looms, make sure the looms are in good shape. If they're not, replace them. Check for damaged wires and stuff like that. That's always, a good idea to whenever you're doing one of these, to make sure that the wiring is in good condition while you got the engine out. 'Cause it's really the best time to do it. Trying to get to this wire with the engine in is sometimes a pain in the you-know-what. So anyway, I tried my best to get this oil pan off of here without pulling the engine. It's not an issue of raising the engine up. The issue is getting the oil pan out of the bell housing. Okay, that's the issue. You have to separate the bell housing from the engine block to be able to remove the oil pan. It's not an issue of lifting the engine up high enough. If that was an issue, I would have already had it out a long time ago. But yeah, the problem is that you have to move the oil pan away from the bell housing, and you can't do it until you separate the engine block from the bell housing. So I don't know why they did that, but yes, they did do that. So this year model S series, I guess the engineers had their heads up their asses. I really don't know. Another thing I found is I had an emissions code on this thing. It was a 404, I think, a PO 404, I think was the code. But I found this right here. Let's zoom in on this thing a little bit. You can see it right there where that rubber 90 is. Can't find where the hell is my finger at. Got it zoomed in now. I can't find it. Okay. See right here? That's sucking air right there, and I think that's causing a lean condition and or an emissions condition. It's definitely causing a lean condition. But yeah, that could be a problem too. So those are some of the things you need to check when you get to take one of these stupid things apart. It's raining again right now. You can see the rain hitting just started raining again. So because I don't have a shop, I'm pretty limited in what I can do here. But this is what I got so far. I just got 2 bolts in the bell housing to remove. Finished removing the wire looms and everything, and then the heater hoses and exhaust hoses and all the EGR crap, and then pull the engine out, and we'll be there. So I wish I could have taken the pan loose, because that's really all. I really didn't want to do this right now because I have this project going on, which I haven't been able to work on it in several months now. Health issues and all that kind of crap. So, but this has to be done. And I really don't have a choice here, because I need to get this thing back on the road for my wife. And the only way I could do it was fix that check engine light, because it wouldn't pass inspection with that check engine light. And so the only way I could do this is take the engine out. And if I'm going to take the engine out, I might as well go ahead and spend a little bit more time and rebuild the damn thing at 160,000 miles and put it back in. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm hoping it's going to be a simple re-ring. If not, then I'll be having to take it to the shop and have the block board, and then have the rods resized, and all the machine work that goes into rebuilding one of these things. It cost me another $400 or $500 to do that. I really didn't want to spend that kind of money right now, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You can see the stuff needed to be done, man. I've got some water leaking right here, which I was actually noticing this in my reservoir. I'd have to fill this thing out about once every 3 months. So I knew there was a water leaking somewhere. I just couldn't see it with all this crap on there. It looks like it's leaking out right here. Head gasket, intake manifold gasket leaking right here for sure. But So it's just time to take this thing apart and redo it. You know, just keep my fingers crossed and go from there. So anyway, this is what we got so far. All I got to do is I got to drop the transmission. I got to drop the transmission down so I can get to those 2 rear bell housing bolts in the back. I can't get to them until I drop the engine down to get it away from that fire, whatever the hell that thing is, the back part of the engine compartment there. Firewall, yeah, that's what they call it. And then I can lock onto this thing and pull it out of here. So it's really not that big a deal. I'm not going to work on it again probably till Monday. I don't like to do things on the weekends. Besides, my buddy's coming over and we're going to play video games. So he's got that new video game with the robot dinosaurs. I don't know what it's called, but he says it's a really good game. So we're going to look at doing that. So. All right, so everybody have a great day. If you have any questions at all about doing this, basically all I've done is I've taken the radiator out of this thing, taken the brackets off for the compressor, the AC compressor, and the alternator. They're right over here. Brackets over here. Just, you know, it's really simple. It's just nuts and bolts. You just take the nuts and bolts off, and the shit falls off. That's how it works. So, but if you have any questions at all, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. If I can. If I can't, it would be a new a newer vehicle, because I do have a Mitchell on Demand. I can answer any question up to 2002. So that's when I quit working on. Actually, I quit working on automobiles in 1998, and I went to the tractor, trailer, school buses, diesel, heavy equipment, and that kind of crap. So, but anyway. This is where we're at. If you have any questions, give me a holler, and talk to you later. Peace, I'm out.